Welcome to the channel, everyone. Well, on this 2002 Nissan Xterra, I discovered that I had a leak underneath, and my worst fear was that I probably was going to have to replace the rear main seal. Now you can see this is where I park. Right there in the upper hand corner, you can see the oil spot on the pavement, and as we look up underneath, as we show another picture there's how bad it's leaking up underneath of this. So I started tracing the oil, and part of the oil I have discovered that it is actually coming from this valve pan cover. Now it does have a new gasket on it. You can probably even see the blue material around one of the bolt holes there, right about there. Now I noticed when I put this new gasket on, the back of this pin is actually bent, and I thought I straightened it out enough to keep it from leaking when I put the new gasket on, but that was a no-go. I did discover that the oil is still leaking out, running down on the side of the engine and running out on the bottom of the bell housing, and causing my massive oil leak. Well, not massive, but it's pretty bad oil leak underneath. And what we're going to do now is go ahead and pull this off here, this valve pan cover, and I want to get a look here at the corner of this, but we got all the bolts out here, and these are pretty easy to take out, and I got one bolt here that's left. And once we get this off, we're going to pull this cover off and look at the corner of this valve pan and see if it's either bent or there's something not right, not causing that gasket to seal up, because like I said, this is a new gasket now. In order to get this off, you just got to move some wires back, unhook your fuel lines here. Of course, mine have been cut, and but they don't have the original line here, but it's basically all the same. If you have the original line, you just unscrew it. Got those out of the way, and unhook the hose right here, and that's pretty much it. And when you get the last bolt out, just simply pull up on it like this. I'm hoping I can get this out in one piece without the gasket falling off on the bottom of the valve pan cover here. But as you can see, okay, here it is, it's off. Now our leak is actually going to be on the corner over here. And you can see, yeah, there's a lot of oil that's been leaking on the outside of here. So I think if we get this fixed here, some of this oil will stop leaking. And if that's the case, then maybe most of my rear main seal problem will go away. Although if I fix this and it's just a few drips, I'm happy with that, because, you know, these old vehicles, that's what you typically get anyway with rear main seals. They do leak just a little bit, but not the extent of this one. This one is pretty bad. So what we're going to do here is, let's flip this up a little bit, and it's leaking right here. Let's go ahead and just kind of pull this gasket off. Let's see if we see anything here that's causing it. The gasket seems to be okay. It's not torn. Like I said, this is a new gasket, so this is good here, unless there's something going on here. And yeah, I think I see the issue here. It's bent. I don't know if you probably can't see it on camera, but it looks like part of this has actually gotten bent somehow. So I'm going to have to put something in here that's pretty straight and see if somehow we can straighten this out. I don't know if I take it on the concrete over here, if it's going to help or not, but something is not right. Yeah, you can see right here there's a gap. So something is not right, and you can see right here there is a gap right here. So part of this is bent, so now I'm going to have to straighten this out in order to stop this leak. And I'm hoping if I get this leak fixed, this will take care of most of my oil underneath. Now, worst case, if I can't fix it, I may have to go ahead and just order another one like this, but we'll see what we can do here to fix this up. Okay, so at this point you can see what I've done. I've taken a little RTV sealant and I put a light coating on the bottom side here, and there's actually a coating on the other side that goes up into the valve pan gasket. It's not much, and I know you're not supposed to use this on it, but if there's any little leaks here, this will stop it. And I've also cleaned off the head down here, the top of the gasket, where it kind of mates to the top of the head here. And I don't feel any defects. I don't feel any big scratches or anything. So we'll go ahead and put this back on, and we'll see if this takes a problem. Like I said, I just put it on the bottom side here where I had the issue. The top side is no problem. If it was leaking on the top, I would see it. So let's go ahead and stick this on. One other thing I almost forgot to mention, I did take a straight edge, and I actually went on both sides of this cover here, and I cannot find any more crookedness, if you will. I did straighten this out just a little bit there, and other than that, everything else seems to be pretty straight. So now we'll go ahead and stick this on and see what we get. All right. All right, so after an exhausting 10 minutes or 15 minutes here, all those screws are in. They are tight, thin coat on both sides of the gasket, and it should not leak anymore. So now all I got to do is hook up a few wires here and hook up the gas, the fuel line right here, and go underneath. I'm going to wipe off the bottom of the bell housing a little bit, and we're going to let this run for the next couple days, and we'll come back and give you guys an update and let you know how much it slowed the leak down. I still think I have a slight leak in the rear main seal, but this here was sort of over the top leak running down. So we'll fix this here. Hopefully we fix this, what I'm trying to say, and we'll check the back here in a couple of days, let you know how it went and how much we still have a leak, if we have a leak at all. All right, everyone, after about 4 or 5 days, I am back. You know that old saying, sometimes you try and sometimes you fail. Well, sort of a failed thing here. I did get the valve pan cover on, and she is bone dry. No more leaks up here, but unfortunately, if we go up underneath here, you can see still quite a bit of oil coming out of the bottom of the engine here on the bottom of the frame. You know, it looks like this transmission is going to have to come out, and if it does, I'll probably more than likely do a video. If you want to see the video, if I can get 100 comments saying that you guys want to see this transmission come out and me replace this rear main seal and so forth, let me know in the comment section below. You can see we still have oil coming out, so it looks like my OCD is going to get the best of me, and taking this transmission out is going to be a pretty good job. I'm happy that it's an automatic, but the automatics and the standards aren't much different to take out. Now, if you guys remember, I said I would go ahead and replace this gasket on the valve pan here, and I did, and look at that, bone dry, no leaks whatsoever. And you can see all the way back in the back there, looks pretty good. The front has no leaks. And I don't know how well you can see that, but you can see there's no oil leaks there whatsoever. So I'm real happy there. We got this here fixed. Here's the weird thing. Let's go underneath. Okay, so we're back up under here, and here is the weird thing. Can you see that manifold bolt right there with that oil around it? There is oil coming around that bolt out of the head. How is that even possible? I've actually heard stories and people say that they've had this happen. This is a first for me. I can't figure this out. The only thing I can think of is maybe someone put the wrong bolt in there and they went too far and maybe cracked part of the head and oil is seeping around that bolt. But it's not leaking a whole lot, just enough to smell the oil, okay? So if that wasn't enough to drive you batty and make you want to pull out your hair trying to figure out what's going on there, then we have just the basic oil leak here, where we're going to be taking out, looks like, this transmission sometime here in the near future. So I can kind of deal with this, but this is just something I just don't quite get. How is that possible? How do you get oil leaking around a bolt like that? That's the only manifold stud that goes into the head that is actually leaking. And this is earlier what I had made the video. I had thought maybe oil was running off the valve pan cover and dripping down on that bolt. Well, that is not the case. So if you've seen this and you have any idea what might be causing it, let me know in the comment section below, because this one here is certainly a head scratcher. Alright guys, so it looks like you know what I'm going to be doing. If I get 100 comments, I'll post the video, but if no one really cares, I probably won't do the video. But you can see just sitting here, the engine's not even running. It's dripping oil. It's not from the bolt around the manifold. This oil here is actually from the bell housing on the transmission there, and you can see how the oil is kind of dripping off there. So, you know, this is part of ownership of older cars. What are you going to do? Now, thankful for me, I do have a transmission jack, and we got these torsion bars that I do have to take out. Now, these will have to be sort of taken out with plenty of patience. They can be kind of tough to get out. And the other thing I'm going to have to probably drop, I'm not really sure about this, I may have to drop this front differential 3 huge bolts and unbolt the axles there. I think you can see the axle bolts there. Once you unbolt those, that will drop out of there. And this actually drops this cross member here and gives you even more room. But this is something we'll get into later if I go ahead and make a video on this Xterra. And of course, in the back here, we have our transfer case. I will have to unbolt this from the back of the transmission, drop it clear out of here, just to give the transmission a little more way to move around and set it on a jack. But with this transfer case hooked up to the back of the transmission, while it's hooked up, it'll make it kind of hard to maneuver on a transmission jack stand. But you get the idea. It's going to be a pretty involved job. Alright, so that's that. As the oil drips there, it looks like I will be taking care of this leak eventually. So there you go, guys. So we fixed one problem and we discovered 2 more that are not fixed. So don't quite get the manifold thing here. Why oil would leak around a bolt like that. And of course it's on the bottom there, and there's no other places that oil can come out. So that's it, guys. So once I get this kind of straightened out here and get ready to do a video, if you guys want me to, let me know. And if I do, I'll post it and maybe help somebody else out. Like I said, the Xterra here is in great shape. The body and frame is almost perfect. It's really hard to find these trucks in the Northeast with good body and frame. And also the, you know, it has hand crank windows and doesn't have the factory fog lights. It's kind of a plain Jane vehicle, so it's a borderline fixed issue for me. I'm not going to be really making any money, but the resale value of this is probably around $3,000 to $4,000 because it's in such great shape. So, you know, it's a gamble I may actually take. So if you guys want to see me pull the transmission out of this and put a rear main seal in it and try to fix that leak, well, let me know in the comment section, and let me know where you're watching from. Until my next video, guys, I will see you later.